Good evening, everyone. It's March 16th, 2014. You're listening to Common Ground Radio, a member of the Air Nation Radio Network, where we discuss all the latest from the daytime Emmy-winning drama days of our lives. Thank you for spending the last part of your weekend with us. If you're new to our show or you just forgot who we were, I am your host, Brandon. On the line with us, as always, is my co-host, Misty.
Hello.
So as we were just discussing before we started the call, I don't know how many of you are actually Big Brother fans, but I am. I'm a diehard Big Brother fan. I just recently got into Big Brother Canada, and I saw that they asked on their Facebook page to send in questions for the evicted house guest. So I did that. Actually, it's not the evicted house guest. If you're not watching Big Brother Canada, you won't understand. But anyways, make a long story short, I sent in a video, and they actually showed it on the show and asked the people the questions. So I made my television debut, not in America, but in Canada. So I guess you could say I'm Canada famous.
Did you say, hey, everybody?
No, that's what I was thinking about that. And everybody that saw it said, oh, you're the one with the American accent, because the other two that called them were Canadian. So they knew that I was from America based on how I talked. Some people said I had a Southern accent, which I don't think I have a Southern accent. I mean, Misty's the one with the Southern accent.
Definitely. I cannot hide it. I try sometimes. I try to do like fake British accent sometimes. It doesn't work.
I think people that have that thick accents probably can't do other types of accents, I would guess.
It doesn't work out very well.
Right.
I mean, it's fun to try, but it's not good. I would not win in a contest or anything, or impersonation or anything like that. Nope.
Oh, my. Okay, well, I see Travis is having issues, and he can't hear me. But I was going to ask him a question, but if he can't hear me, I guess I won't ask. But if Travis can hear me, well, he can't, so I won't say. Never mind. Where was I? Just a few things before we get into our discussion this evening. Log on to airnationradio.com and check out all our past shows. You can download them and listen when and where you please. If you missed our interviews with Jen Lilly or Jade Harlow or Bill and Susan Hayes, who we had last weekend, you'll be sure to want to check those out. Those shows, all of them, we had a complete blast, and they were so fun to interview, especially Bill and Susan last week. They completely took over the show and made it their own, and which made it so much easier on Misty and I as hosts when they're so, down to earth and just, I mean, they were asking us the questions most of the time, which I thought was...
Yeah, that was fun. They were really fun.
It was one of the, I mean, I don't want to rank our interviews, but it was one of the best interviews we've had. I mean, not to say anything about Jen or Jade's interview, but I'm just saying it was a very fun interview, just like all of them were. And we hope to have more in the future, so stay tuned.
Yes, I'm trying.
You're trying very hard, so be patient. You can head over to our show page on TalkShoe.com if you would like to download either of those interviews. I believe they're episodes 23, 24, and 27. But if you just go to our page on TalkShoe.com, you'll be able to download them. Next up, our tweets of the week, as usual. Every week, Misty and I bring you our favorite tweets from Daystars past and present. The first one I have is from Jen Lilly, of course. And if you don't know her handle by now, it's at Jen_Lilly. This is so true. That moment when you're half asleep and you have that mini spaz attack and you think you're falling.
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
All the time. And we actually just talked about this in one of my health psych class. There's a reason for that, because I can't remember, so I'm not going to explain it and make myself sound more stupid. But there's a reason for it. It's something about your hormones and like your brain neurons and all that, that fancy talk that I'm not too keen on, but there's a reason for it. But yeah, it happens all the time. Like, I mean, everybody, obviously, it happens to Jen.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, it happens, and I don't like when it happens. Because I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I mean, luckily I woke up before I hit the ground or something, but yeah, you definitely like jerk awake. It is a spaz attack for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. All right. I have one from Guy Wilson. If you don't know his handle, it is at the Guy Wilson. He says, Romeo and Hamlet are placed in an MMA cage. Who wins and how? I just love the random tweet. And I don't know who would win. Romeo by death poison.
No, good one. I don't know. If he would have thrown Othello in there, that might have been a close competition there, too.
Exactly.
I saw he was tweeting a lot about Shakespeare this weekend.
Mhm. I did too.
Know.
I don't know if he was somewhere, like a museum or somewhere, or just watching it on TV.
I have no. I mean, I just finished reading Othello, actually, in one of my classes. But anyways, I mean, I read it in high school, but we had to read it again this year. But anyways, Travis can hear us now. Not to get off topic, but I'm going to. Travis you said that Scott was on Twitter now from Big Brother Canada. Can you post his handle in here, because I want to know what it is, so that way when I log off here, I have it. So if you have his handle, type it in here so I can keep it for, just please, Travis, thanks. Okay. My next one is from Chriselle Stout. You can follow her at Chriselle7. I never watched this show, but I've heard a lot of bad things about the person. Seems Juan Pablo's family, this is about The Bachelor. Seems Juan Pablo's family wouldn't have given their own son a rose if they were doing the choosing. I didn't watch The Bachelor this season, but I heard a lot of bad things about it. and about Juan, too, evidently. Like, we're both getting ready to talk at the same time. Did you watch it at all? No.
I only watch them when there's someone on there that I know, or someone that's coming back. Like, I only watched the first couple of seasons of Bachelor, and I didn't watch any more. And then I watched like one season of The Bachelorette. The show gets on my nerves.
It really is. It's one of the worst shows out there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It gets on my nerves, and I'm just like, I would be mad if I was on the show. Just because, I don't know, it's just demoralizing to me.
I mean, I could go on a rant, but I don't feel like it.
Yeah. So I don't particularly watch it, but I mean, sometimes it's fun, but the girls are crazy, but
they're nuts.
Yeah. That's about it.
Oh, I found Scott. Thanks, Travis.
Yay.
I found Scott on Twitter.
Okay. My last tweet is from Freddie Smith. If you want to follow him, it's at Freddie M. Smith. He said, a woman left an elevator with me today, gave me a big smile, and said, "You look so happy." And he says, happiness is contagious. Spread it around. I thought that was sweet.
Aw. That's cute.
And happiness is contagious. I do agree with that. So is being a grumpy bat.
Sorry for the long pause. I was on Twitter and I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, that I'm so bad at I'd like to think that I'm good at multitasking, but most of the time I find out that I'm not, even though I try to tell myself I am.
Yeah. Most of the time it is not. The male cannot multitask. I'm sorry.
I'll try not to take offense to that.
Most females can.
No, it's true. It's true. I've learned that. In a lot of my classes we've discussed that women are better at multitasking than men are. I hate to admit it, but it's true.
Yeah, it's something with our brain.
It is, yeah. They're wired a little bit
Not that we're smarter, but it's just, I don't know. We can do more
areas
things.
of the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my last one's from Deidre Hall. You can follow her at Deidre Hall. This is for all the Canadian fans, so if there's any Canadians listening, which I'm not sure if they can or not, because there's restrictions, I know, between nations. Calling all Canadian Days of Our Lives fans. We will be coming to a city near you next week. Visit indigo.ca/events for more details. Cool. I know that Drake and Deidre are going to be in Vancouver and Toronto, if I remember correctly. But again, go to indigo.ca/events for more details on when they'll be up there. I know Deidre posted a picture of her and Drake. They're going to be on ET Canada next week, so be sure to, if you're in Canada, check them out. For us in the U.S., we can't, because we can't view things in Canada with the restrictions. Trust me, I've learned trying to watch Big Brother Canada. That was a whole issue of mine. But, yeah, if you're in Canada, check them out. Oh, and Travis, if you know that Nate's on Twitter, be sure to post his handle in here too for me. I'm too lazy to look it up myself. Okay. All news. Okay. This week, the first piece of news I have to share with you is in regards to Wally Kurth. You know, I would assume you all know Wally as Justin on Days of Our Lives. And as I'm getting to the story here, I had it bookmarked, so let me get to it. Daytime fans might be used to presently seeing Wally Kurth as Justin Kiriakis on NBC's Days of Our Lives. But it wasn't so long ago that the actor played at General Hospital's Ned Ashton. And guess what? It looks like he'll be heading back to Port Charles in the near future. Wally tweeted Wednesday, March 12th, that I had a nice day in Port Charles yesterday. Yes, Ned will be arriving in town soon. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. So, again, I want to make it clear that this doesn't mean he's exiting Days for GH. Because, as we know, he's not on contract with Days. He's recurring, so he is allowed to, soap jump, I guess you would say, which is what Eileen does. Eileen does the same thing, going from YNR to Days. So this doesn't mean he's leaving Days, but he is. So if you're a General Hospital fan, he's going to be heading over there soon. I'm not sure how far they tape in advance, but I know it's not as many as Days. I think they're just a month ahead. So around April, I assume you would find Wally in Port Charles as Ned Ashton. The next piece of news I have is in regards to the ratings. This is for the week of March 3rd. And this is good news for all soaps. All soaps are up in total viewers. But in reference to Days, they had 2.7 million viewers that week, which is up 31,000 from that week prior, which was the last week in February. And they are up 54,000 viewers from that time last year. And in the ever so important women 18 to, what was the crucial, the ratings per household. Of course, YNR still leads with 3.6, but Days is still up. They're still in last, but they're holding firm at a 2.0, which I know seems horrible compared to YNR, but 4 Days holding a 2.0 rating in the households is actually good. So just be happy with that.
Just be happy, okay? I'm just happy it's on. I'm just happy it's still on the air. That makes me happy. Those ratings, though, are really good.
They are, even though they're in last place among the four soaps. It's still good considering, not many people are home during the daytime to watch. I mean, they're averaging.
I have to watch online.
Yeah. Why? You don't have a DVR?
No.
Oh yeah, you told me that. I just assumed you probably got it by now.
I'm behind. I'm still behind the times.
Oh, miss, we got to get you caught up.
I know. It drives me crazy because every time I miss something, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go and find it online somewhere.
Oh my gosh. So March 4th was actually Dave's biggest show. They had 2.8 million viewers.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure what happened March 4th, but if you want to go ahead and go back and check that out, please do so. And the last piece of news I have.
Shower scene.
Well, that was more than a few weeks ago. EJ and Abby, yeah.
Yeah.
The last piece of news I have is regarding Days fans in Australia. So here we're giving some shout-outs to Canada and Australia. Celebrate Australia's most popular daytime series on Foxtel's Arena. We are thrilled to announce that fan favorites Christian Alfonso and Sean Christian are coming to Sydney next week, which is this week here, upcoming. They'll be here to promote the show and also attend the Astra Awards next Thursday. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm sure if you're in Australia, you would know. So keep an eye out for them. I believe April is when Days of Our Lives will return to TV in Australia after being off the air for 6 months. It was on Crackle.com in Australia after it was taken off the air. Now it is returning in April, and also Days of Our Lives in Australia will be airing the same day episodes as the United States. So, unlike most countries, like I know South Africa and Barbados and places like that, they're like 5 years behind. But in Australia, you will be caught up with the same day episodes as the United States. So,
cool.
Good news for the Aussie fans.
Mm-hmm.
But when it went off the air, I think they were a year or two behind. So I believe they're going to have a week of catch up with they will be showing like clips or something of catching up stories, because I think they missed Eileen's return and they missed Will's coming out story, so they're pretty far behind. But they'll all be caught up very soon. All right. Now that was 15 minutes. That took way longer than I had expected.
We were rambling.
Just a reminder, if you'd like to call in and discuss anything about last week's show's number is 1-724-444-7444. Then you'll enter the call ID, which is 131151, and finally 1 and pound, and you're in. I know it's a lot of numbers, trust me, but you can do it. Call in at any point during our show when something comes to mind. Tonight, is Abby pregnant? If so, what will EJ do? And with John back in town, can Jarlena make things work? Of course, if you'd like to talk about anything else, call us and we'll talk about that as well. And if we have time, we might talk a little bit about Nicole, because she was our Friday cliffhanger, as you saw. Looks like she might be in some deep doo-doo. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll get started. We'll start with Salem's Golden Circle girl turned town slut, Abby. I was really hoping that would have came out better than it did. I got tongue-tied, and I was really proud of that. I should do it. No, I'm not going to do it over the whole time.
I was proud of it, too.
I really thought that would roll off the tongue better than it did.
Yeah.
It makes me mad. Anyway. Okay. So, how to start with EJ and Abby? Well, I guess we could start out with EJ and Sammy and Abby. Sammy went over to talk with Abby at the Horton house, and she was feeling a little. I didn't mean to drag it out like that, but thanks for bringing that up. I'm
sorry, carry on.
I'm reading the chat room here, and I can't multitask. Guest 5 asked about Ned, or Wally. Is he going to the nurses' ball or more permanently? Well, the nurses' ball, I believe, on General Hospital won't happen for a few more months, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's not going to be more permanently, as I had said earlier. So you don't have to worry about him leaving forever. And Travis said, no news on Nate yet. Okay. All right, back on track. Sorry, I have a one-track mind. So Sammy went over to see Abby, and she was feeling a little queasy. She said she was feeling sick. And Sammy noticed that the symptoms that she had were very similar to the symptoms that she had when she was pregnant. And it didn't take Sammy long to she jumped right in and it said, could you be pregnant? She didn't. She just jumped right in there and asked her that. And Abby dropped her glass on the floor and in a complete shock. She said, no, I can't be. And Sammy was very comforting to her, which I think is the most hilarious thing about this all, because if only she knew. She was so comforting with her.
Yeah.
Poor Sammy.
I know.
I kind of feel bad for her, and I kind of don't, which might be mean. But anyways. So I think the point that when Sammy went over to talk to Abby, was it about art? Yeah, that was it. That's so stupid. Sammy wanted to enrich her life with more art because she knows that's what EJ is into. So she wanted to be able to impress EJ with some kind of knowledge about art.
No,
whatever.
That's sweet.
No, but I don't think so. I don't think she doesn't need to learn art to impress EJ. I feel like she's grasping for straws here, trying to impress him with knowing art. I don't think she needs to do that to impress him. I mean, she already has him. Not sure how long she's going to have him, but
right.
she doesn't need to do that. Anyways, so Sammy left after Abby agreed to tutor her. And then
she has to do this because why else would she need to even talk to Abby?
Right. I mean, they never crossed paths ever, aside from her being the babysitter for Johnny and Sydney. So the following day, well, I don't know if it was the following day, but later in the week, did she tell EJ about what Sammy had said, or no? Sammy had told EJ. Sammy told EJ about. Sorry, I'm watching TV here and I can't multitask.
Well, he pretty much talked her into telling him because they're not supposed to keep secrets, even though he's got a ton of secrets. Right.
Yeah, more than one.
I was like, really?
She couldn't wait. I mean, Abby wanted to make sure that Sammy wouldn't say anything. Well, as soon as Sammy got home, she couldn't keep that mouth shut, and she told EJ everything that she just talked about with Abby. So she told EJ, and of course EJ kind of turned bleach white, which was hilarious too. So he had to hurry up and get in contact with Abby, and of course he wanted her to go see a doctor, and he did not want her to take a paternity test. I guess he felt that if she was seen out in town, searching for a paternity test, that would raise a lot of questions. And I mean, I don't know why he would be upset about that, because I don't think anyone in town would suspect that Abby and EJ are the ones doing it. But anyway,
if anything, they would think Chad.
Right.
Or Cameron or somebody.
That's what Sammy thought. Sammy thought it was Chad. But pregnancy, not oh, okay, well, sorry. Pregnancy test, not paternity test. Anyways.
I didn't even catch that.
I'm not a woman, and I don't take pregnancy tests, so I wouldn't be up on this knowledge. But thank you for correcting me, guess 4 and 5. So Abby was, I don't know if I want to go into the dream sequence or not, but I probably should. Well, that just kind of ruined the whole thing. The dream sequence.
The dream sequence is the best part of the week.
And I kind of just ruined it by saying it was a dream sequence. But anyways, one show, I think it was Thursday or Friday. Friday, one of them days, it started out with Abby going to the hospital. And there's a doctor there, and he had told her to get in a gown because, he asked her why she was there, and she told him. And he told her to take off her clothes and get in a gown so they could begin the pregnancy test. And she was a little befuddled by that because she thought that you just took blood, Which, I mean, I don't know. I've never taken a pregnancy test, so I don't know how you determine that. But she, I can't remember. I think she was laying down there on the bed, and then the doctor came in and inserted something in her arm. And Abby was confused again why that happened. And then the doctor said that it would make her
relax.
It would relax her. I was going to say loosen her up, but she doesn't need any loosening up. She quickly fell asleep, and then she woke up and asked what had happened. And EJ asked if she was pregnant, and the doctor said not anymore. And then, of course, Abigail flipped out, saying, "What did you do to me? What did you do to my baby? What did you do to me?" And then she woke up. It was all a dream. Of course, they had us all thinking that she was pregnant, and then EJ had forced her to get an abortion. But it was all a dream. So,
which we should have knew that wouldn't happen.
Right.
Because EJ would never do that to his own child.
No. And how he told Abby that it would cause too much issues for him and Samantha. Like, I wouldn't hear him saying that normally. Like,
right.
Just his conversation with Abby there just didn't seem like it was real. And it wasn't. So, Abby and EJ met up that day after her dream. And, of course, she was very reluctant about going to a doctor, which EJ had suggested, again, to go to a doctor. and Abby said that she wouldn't go to a doctor on his payroll. I mean, we all know how that goes, to mirror doctor payrolls. She wanted to, she didn't seem like she was in a hurry to get the test. But she was talking with EJ at the hospital in one of the, I don't know if it was a waiting room or like a meeting room, whatever. I think it's probably a versatile room. I mean, they probably uses that set for like Jennifer's office and Marlena's office and Daniel's office, and I think that was where
they called it something. They called it like the common room or something, didn't they? I can't remember. They called it something. Maxine said they're in the blah 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 room or whatever. But I can't remember.
I mean, that set has been used over multiple purposes. I can remember. I see that set all the time. They just like. It was
probably Jennifer's office just redone for that scene.
Probably, yeah. I mean, Jennifer, Daniel, and Marlena and Anne, all of their offices look the exact same. All of them. Yes, common room. Conference room. One says common room. Yeah, common room. Okay.
Common room. I thought that's what she called it.
So they talked in a very heated manner, I guess you would say. Abby was very defensive and was very standoffish with EJ because of her dream. But EJ said that he didn't want, he was going to do everything that he could to make sure that this child was taken care of, and he wanted to make sure that, I mean, he was not going to neglect his father duties as a father if Abby was pregnant, and he wanted to make that clear. Well, as they were talking, here comes Samantha walking up the hallway announcing that she's looking for EJ. How funny is it that she's announcing? I mean, most of the time you would just walk up and open the door, but she announced, so that way they'd give him time to run, EJ time to run. Okay. And I'm reading the chat room. I see it. So EJ was didn't know what to do, but quickly he thought on his feet, and there's a window in the back, hidden behind a partition, I believe. Is that a partition? That's what you call it, I think, a partition. And he jumped out the window. I mean, he didn't fall out the window. He stepped out the window and crawled on the ledge. And he hid out there for a good while.
I know, during the entire meeting.
Oh, the meeting, right. He didn't hop out the window, though, until after Sammy had entered. It was he stood behind it, and then he jumped out of it. Okay. Yeah. And then after Sammy had left, or right about when they were leaving, he jumped out the window. But EJ couldn't get back in, and the reason he couldn't get back in was not because the window was closed or anything, but because there was a meeting going on, headed by Liam, the new character Liam, and 4 or 5 other men. Well, the meeting was about erectile dysfunction. And EJ, hilarious, the most hilarious thing he said, I wish I would have had that problem. I wish I had that problem.
Just for that gave James Scott a chance for a James Bond type stunt and some comedy.
Oh my God! It was the most hilarious thing I've seen in quite a while on Dave. He was standing out there, so I mean, he couldn't cover his ears or anything because he was holding on for dear life at the top of a ledge. He was so. It was just hilarious. I could go back and watch that scene a couple more times, and I probably will.
It made me laugh out loud, like literally. I mean, I was cracking up. I was like, "This is hilarious." Because I know when he said, "I wish I had that problem," I lost it. I was like, "Oh my God!" And then the fact that Liam was the person going over that.
I know, that was complete
also
shock.
made me giggle too, because I was like,
random
really?
Too. I was like,
yeah.
That's Liam's purpose now on the show. That's why he came to town, so he could conduct meetings with men that have erectile dysfunction. Okay. Well,
that scene was hilarious. Those men were hilarious, and then when it was over, he was like, "Well, that wasn't hard at all." I was like, "Oh my gosh, this show is cracking me up."
You have to love a good. You have to love a good sexual joke. Dave doesn't do enough of that. All right. Well, anyways, we kind of got away from Abby and started talking about erectile dysfunction. But, anyways, the question I pose to Misty and anyone in the chat room, do you really think that Abby is going to be pregnant? I'm not going to say anything. But if she is pregnant, how do you think the news will come out? I think to me, everything that I've asked seems very obvious, but I don't know. What do you think, Misty?
I think she's not pregnant. I think she's having symptoms of stress. I don't think she's going to be, and if she is pregnant, because I could be wrong, she could totally be pregnant, and then she'll miscarry or something. Like, I don't think she'll have a baby.
Yeah. I knew all along that there would be some type of pregnancy storyline. There'd be like a pregnancy scare, but I never thought that she'd actually get pregnant. I think she's having symptoms of stress because she's stressed out because she doesn't want anybody to find out, and then she's also wants him and can't have him. Right.
So I think it's just stress, and it's making her sick. That's all I can think of. If she's not pregnant, it has to be stress.
But if she is pregnant, I have a feeling that it'd be a good time to blurt that out at EJ and Sammy's wedding. But I don't. Yeah. I don't think she is pregnant.
Well, obviously, if that's going to happen, I mean that will happen. I think.
Right.
But,
I mean, unless she does it, unless her water breaks at Will and Sonny's wedding or something, and she's up there as the whatever she is. Will's best woman or Sonny's best woman. But she was very hesitant about that. She didn't want to be a part of Will and Sonny's wedding, which I didn't understand because it's not like I didn't understand why she was so hesitant about that. I mean, I know EJ and Sammy would be there, but maybe that's just why, because they were going to be there. She just didn't want to, I don't know. Or she just didn't want to stand in a church in front of the man that she had sexual relations with and the woman that the man that she had sexual relations with is engaged to.
Yeah, and I think she didn't want to be there because Sammy and EJ both will be there, and then it'll just be awkward.
Right. I can understand.
But she can't seem to get away from Sammy anyway. I'm sure Abigail thought this is the most awkward day of my life, just talking to Sammy and Sammy comforting her, and she's thinking in her head, oh my gosh, if she only knew, she would probably be beating me into a pulp right now.
That would be.
Because she's scared. You know she's scared of Sammy.
Oh, she's terrified. So. Yeah, no, there's. If she's pregnant, she's going to be even 10 times more terrified.
Exactly. She'll stress herself into the miscarriage.
Travis said in the chat room something random but hilarious. Said that T totally had sex with her with his eyes. He was really hitting on her. He was trying hard, and it just wasn't working out for him. She denied him so bad. Yeah, he has no.
We need to get him a girl.
Gabby didn't work out, luckily.
Yeah, Gabby's getting on my nerves, but that's for another story.
Oh my gosh, we could spend a whole hour just bashing Gabby, which I would gladly do. I have no problem doing that, but not tonight. Okay. Well, and let me read through the chat room and see what their thoughts are. Guest 4 thinks that this will all be resolved before the wedding. Yeah, because did they say May? May.
Well, I heard that they're supposed to do May, but I also heard that it's not going to happen until like June or July.
Okay.
So I'm thinking something happens in May that makes them wait until June or July. But you never know. You can't believe some of the stuff you hear.
Right, yeah, you never know. But we do know that Will and Sonny's wedding is supposed to be in April. So, who knows if that's going to go off without a hitch. I mean, you never, in Salem, there's always the wedding that, every wedding has to have something going on, something busting it up, and I assume it'll be, I don't know, maybe Andrew comes back from the dead. Or wait, did he die? I don't think he died. I don't know. This stalker that Gabby hired, maybe, I don't know.
I don't remember if he died or not. I don't know if he died or if they arrested him. Because he was in that explosion.
he was taken to the hospital that day.
Yeah.
So he is alive. So yeah, he's probably in jail.
Yeah.
So I see that we have Kendra on call. I'm sure she has something to say, probably in regards to either Abby or Oil and Sunny. So I'll go ahead and bring her on now. She's already unmuted. All right, Kendra, you're on. What do you have to say?
Oh. Hi, Kendra.
Young Abigail.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want her to be pregnant because I don't want another pregnancy storyline.
Yeah, Days does do a lot of that. They do a lot of pregnancy storylines, and most of the time, at least for Nicole, it turns out badly. But sometimes it turns out well. I think that's kind of overdone now. I feel like in daytime in general, actually, like pregnancy storylines are overdone. Like, I mean, been there, done that. Need to do something different. I don't know.
Like abortion.
Yeah, you don't see anything like can't remember honestly, at least in the 8 years I've been watching, that there's been an abortion storyline. I mean, that would be controversial, but it would be with the times because it is something that happens in our everyday society. So that would be one way to go. But I mean, I think they would get a lot of flack though. Days would if they, of course, Days would get a lot of flack for EJ and Abby too. But yeah.
Well, Gabby was going to get an abortion.
Oh, that's right. Will took her. I forgot.
Yeah. And she blaming
the abortion clinic.
Yeah, she blaming.
Well, I mean, Will was going through a lot at that time, and I'm not condoning what they did going to the abortion clinic, but Will was going through a lot. And
I'm pretty sure Mimi got an abortion also.
Sammy?
I think so, with Rex's child. Or did she get an abortion? Or I can't remember if she had an abortion. I think she did.
AMC, All My Children had an abortion storyline, I see, Guess 4 said. Okay. Who on All My Children had an abortion, if you don't mind me asking? Guess 4, if you remember. I mean, I only watched the new version of All My Children, so I didn't watch the ABC version. I see we have Travis on call. I don't... he's already unmuted too. So, do you have something to say, Travis, or are you just listening in?
I can have something to say, but I'll let you guys discuss this little part first, and then I'll come back. I'll be here.
Okay. Well, I don't think Data's going to do an abortion storyline. I mean, that'd be one way to go, but I don't think they're going to do it. And I mean, miscarriage would be a little more. I mean, they've done miscarriages, right, with Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a little more safe. If the bet, I mean, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say it that it's safe, but a more toned down version instead of going out there and doing an abortion. But
yeah, I mean, it wasn't before, but I don't know if Abby will or not.
No,
I mean, she might because of her mother. Like, she doesn't want her family to find out, but I highly doubt it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see it.
After the way she reacted of her dream. Like,
right.
I don't see her doing that.
Mm-hmm. She would obviously keep the child if she was pregnant, or she would give it up for adoption. I mean, she wouldn't.
Right.
She wouldn't abort it.
She might go in hiding or something.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going away for a while. I'll be back. And then that way she could give it to, like, a nunnery while she's gone.
Yeah. Guess what said it was Susan Lucci's character that had the abortion. So that was, what was her name? Why can't I remember her name on All My Children? Oh, that makes me so mad. Oh, guess what? You're on the line.
Hi, this is Angela. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Just fine. Misty, I follow you on Twitter.
Oh, hey.
Pragmatic Days on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But
what do you have to say?
Well, I guess just on this whole, I'm trying to figure out. There's so many different topics going on. I don't want to drive it off into another direction. So I'm not sure which one. But it took me a few minutes to dial in. So I didn't hear everything while I was dialing in. I guess as far as the biggest abortion story that there ever was the one on All My Children, and was not a big All My Children viewer, but that was a big story. And they did that quite a number of years ago, and then they hired Ian Buchanan to come back on the show to be this evil doctor. And
right.
and they actually brought a son in. So basically they unaborted the child 10 years after it was born, or however long they did it. So I'm not sure that they've done too many others like that. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. One Life to Live, these shows that really focused on those types of big social issues. Days is not a big social issue show.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously now the Will story and coming out story has been kind of the exception, I think.
Right.
But One Life to Live and All My Children are really the people that would have done those types of stories. But to me, as far as EJ and Sammy, and I am quite invested. I've been watching Days for over 40 years. I'm 48. Show started a couple of months after I was born, so I know I wasn't watching it in the crib while my grandmother and mother worked. So I'm not one of these people that people say, oh, well, you've only been watching since EJ and Sammy have been on the air. That's not true. I've been watching forever. But I definitely like EJ and Sammy, and I just feel like, especially with Allison Sweeney leaving, that, I really want the, happy ever after story, even if it's short-lived. I want Sammy to have a wedding that is not interrupted, that no one throws a fist, or any, really have something with some humor to it, but not have it be, her 14th wedding was a disaster. Because I've seen all of them, so I'd prefer not to see that. So I'm still kind of hopeful that. And I had heard this, there's obviously all these rumors that float around. Misty, I think you were talking about a few of them too. But I think one of the things that, I keep hearing is that there's going to be an event in April, and I'm hoping that it is in April, that will somehow reconcile this whole issue. I mean, in my mind, it's almost like they're going to find out that Abby is not pregnant. She and EJ are going to reach an agreement that they're just not going to say anything. Because and just let it be, because again, just like for some of the reasons he brought up the other day when they were, on the conference table, and he kind of called her bluff on having an affair, that they'll just leave it. They'll just agree to keep it quiet, that there was, there's no baby, nobody else knows, or they don't think anyone else knows. Obviously, they've got those pictures that they showed in a preview or a promo a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think I've ever seen them show the pictures again except in the promo. Is that true?
Yeah, I haven't seen either.
Yeah. So, I think Stefano's behind it personally. I think Stefano, whether even, I don't think Nick necessarily took the pictures. But probably, it's always best and easiest to blame it all on Stefano in the end.
Yeah.
So somehow, and I feel like that there'll still be some type of, and I won't go over what one of the rumors may be as far as things that are going to happen, but I just feel like it's going to be such a more major issue that, it's like everyone's going to decide, just like Will said to Sammy, back when Chandler Massey still played, you have to make a decision finally to be with the one that you really love and just move on from there. And I just don't think, and I'm kind of hoping that Sammy doesn't know and they leave it that way, because I think it's, they've done several things that have been more kind of Bill Bellish, as far as, more in the style of how he wrote Days, where they left, like when Laura, years ago, when I was a little girl, when Laura was pregnant with Mike, and they didn't reveal that for over 10 years on the show. Now I don't know that Days has got another 10 years. I don't think they do. But it's something that they can always hold out later. If they agree they're not going to say anything and they move on from it, then that's always something that if EJ or Sammy come back to the show, then that's something they could deal with. But I don't know. I'm of the thought that James is leaving and Allie are leaving. And so, I guess I just want to see kind of a happier ending right now to it. And, I think that Abby is still scheduled to, they brought one of these, they've hired all of these new young men in their 20s. And, I really sound like an old woman. I think young men in their 20s. Anyway, I'm really not that old, but I am 48, so I guess I am old enough to be their mom. But I do think that, we brought those little guys in, and one of those are going to end up being her boyfriend. So I'm just kind of hoping that all that kind of falls in with whatever goes on as the issue in April. And then hopefully we have the wedding in May, as they're saying. I have heard the story too, Misty, though, of, that something's going to happen in May. But I can't think, May is sweeps. And that's as important to the show, to be getting as much revenue as they possibly can get. And especially if they're not going to get, they test the revenue in May. So I would think that if they were halfway smart, there would be, because February really was not spectacular. I mean, the ratings went up a little bit, but they weren't, it didn't go up as much as, say, General Hospital or Young and the Restless did. So to me, the biggest draw they've got would be to have the wedding in May. And especially if then at the end of it, maybe Sammy and EJ do go on this honeymoon they've started talking about. Because, all of a sudden, there is this whole conversation about maybe they're going to take a long honeymoon. Maybe they come back at the 50th anniversary date, or whatever, the celebration or whatever in November, from their honeymoon, and decide that they're moving to, London or Genoa City or wherever.
Just somewhere else but Salem, yes. Yeah, I know. If he's going to leave with her, I think they should do it in a happy way. But if he's not going to leave with her, then, of course, there's going to be some drama, and she'll go out with a bang. But and he could, and I certainly don't know for sure what he's going to do, but I just don't see him staying. I really don't. I think that the show itself, if you look at, they lost the revenue for SoapNet, and they, the people that they're hiring are either folks that were experienced soap actors that really haven't been able to find a spot, which I would think that would mean, and again, not taking anything away from them, because there's some great actors that are coming. Like I said, I love Cassie DePaiva, and some of these people are very talented. I'm excited that they're coming to the show. But, obviously they're going to be willing to work for a little bit less than some other people if they've been out of work for a while and there aren't any, they're only 4 soaps. So I think that's, you look at that, and then you look at the stream of young people that are, again, I'm not such an oldie, these folks that are in their 20s that they've hired. It's probably, I think, we think about it, by the time we get to August, there'll probably be 8 new characters that we aren't dealing with right now on the show. And those folks are obviously going to be making a lot less. And I think that's what part of it is, especially if Days is not going to, Days has got the contract through the 2016, so they'll be there through the 50th anniversary. But will the show either be sold, or will Mr. Corday decide to retire? In either case, they're going to be wanting to stockpile some money. And I think their margins are still pretty small. Being a small production company that they are. So I think a lot of it comes down to money and business. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I love EJ. James Scott, I think, is great. And, but I know Guest 5 is saying that they think James Scott is a lifer. I don't think he is.
If Allie leaves, I don't think he would stick around, because he's very invested in EJ and Sammy. And, he's made it clear that he's an EJ and Sammy shipper, and if she leaves, she is leaving. And his contract is up as well, so it would make perfect sense for him to exit.
It's up in May. There's no real evidence that he's even been working this much. I think the last picture that we've seen with him on set was in January. So I really, my sense is that he's done. I think that look at it too. They have attempted to make other relationships for EJ. And, you can't have somebody of his caliber and pay him, I'm sure, what they pay him, with those good looks and all the different magnetism that I think he has anyway. I think Misty does too. But that he has, and then not have a love interest for him. And they would have to wait, even if they would, I don't think Abby is really ever would be the love interest for him to begin with. I think this has been a filler, storyline personally. But they would have to wait at least 6 or 9 months till, Allison is gone. I don't see them. I cannot imagine how they could recast Sammy. I don't think that's fair. I think Allison has given her all to Days of Our Lives for nearly 22 years. I just don't think it's appropriate to try to hunt down a lookalike at this point. so to me that's the whole thing, is that just, to have them go ahead and, and leave. And like I said, James, hopefully James could get on another show and do some primetime stuff or do whatever else he wants to. But he said a long time in a quote that, it was always better not to be the last to leave a show that was going off the air. So, and I just don't know that audiences would accept him with anybody else. And I think it would be a long play. And they've got 2 years, basically, especially with instead of filming a year and a half. What are they filming now, 6 or 8 months in advance?
5, I think.
Yeah, but they just don't have that kind of ramp up time that they would really need in order to really sell people on another love interest for EJ. I don't. Again, just an opinion. I'll be quiet. I don't want to dominate this show, but
I don't think James Scott would have an issue finding a job if he left Days. Was it guest? Let's see. Guest 5 in the chat room said, "Why would he leave just because of storyline? He needs a paycheck." Well, if he left Days, he would have no issue finding a job. Personally, I don't think, in my opinion. I mean, he could easily book a movie.
He's very talented.
I think they wrote the character of Adam Newman on Young and the Restless to model after EJ. They wrote that whole Chatham story, based on EJ and Sammy, so they could come up with the Adam Newman and Sharon. So
right.
I mean, even though he'd come back British from that plane, from whatever the crash was, but crazier things have happened on soaps. And I think it would be amazing to see him on Young and the Restless with Eric Braeden. I think that would be just awesome.
Oh my gosh, that would be epic.
It would be. It would be absolutely epic, and there would be even more, fans that would probably follow over there. And it doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching Days. I've been watching it my whole life. I will probably watch it till the very last episode is on the air. But I think that to me, and then that would give James a chance, as far as, if he has outs. They gave Billy Miller outs on Young and the Restless, and that would really give him a chance to maybe do something else. And then that would really be the best of both worlds. We'd still get to see him on daytime TV, and then he could do something else too and get more visibility. He'd get more visibility on Young and the Restless than he gets on Days.
Yeah, because YNR is very top. I don't know how I want to put it, but it's not as viewed across the world as YNR and Bold and Beautiful are. YNR and Bold and Beautiful are very profitable.
They're the most
overseas.
Distributed. They're the most distributed.
Right. And this is a little off topic, but kind of the same. We know that if you follow Michael Logan on Twitter, he's a Writes for TV guide, and he has news to release on Monday. Well, one of the rumors I heard was in regards to Days, and I don't know if you watch Bold and Beautiful, Angela, but Jackie Wood, there's a rumor that she was going to be coming to Days. When I saw that, I was like, I cannot see that happening, but
I can't imagine that either. That's not where they need they don't need another female that's in that age range. I've heard there have been there's so many rumors out there. Of course, my personal dream story, which I don't, like I said, which is strictly drummed up in my own mind, that absolutely probably has no basis in fact whatsoever. But it's my idea. So if Sony were to hire me to do this, this is what I would do. I would bring Peter Bergman over from Young and the Restless. I think part of the way they've been able to get Eileen Davidson is I think Sony is picking up a portion of her salary. And obviously, she and Peter Bergman have been working together for decades. I mean, they're brother and sister on Young and the Restless. Peter Bergman he's 60, and they put out a casting call for a male 50 to 70 years old, executive, powerful man, arrogant, has a little bit of an arrogancy to him, which is very much like Jack Abbott on Young and the Restless. Yep. He gets very little airtime. I don't think he gets nearly enough airtime on Young and the Restless now because they've got so many people, and they've already made a commitment that they're bringing Adam Newman back. I don't care if they're casting James Scott or who they're going to cast, but they're going to cast somebody.
I heard they're bringing Phyllis back.
Philip.
I heard that they're bringing Phyllis back. No, on YNR.
Philip Chancellor.
No, Phyllis. Phyllis. Phyllis Newman. I can't remember what her last name is, but she was in a coma
Phyllis.
in Georgia.
Phyllis.
Yeah, Phyllis.
Okay,
right.
Phyllis. Yeah. Well, that's a possibility too. But in any event, I feel like, from what I can tell, again, it's just my own opinion, that they don't use him as much, as they used to, as far as having this war between he and the Eric Reagan character. And
Victor.
he could be fabulous on days. He's already got a tremendous chemistry already with Eileen Davidson. Sony might pick up a portion of that too, to maybe have them be able to come back and forth between the two shows, and it would almost be a trade-off to a certain extent if you traded out. And I think some of the, and I've been saying this on Twitter for a while now too, is I feel like with all four of the shows, and they're starting to do this, they've certainly done it with GH and Young and the Restless, and they don't do as much, I don't think, on Bold and Beautiful. I don't watch that show. But they do have some GH people, and obviously Darren Brooks is on there from Days, and I can't think of his name, that played Dylan on General Hospital.
Steve Burton.
No, well, Steve Burton is on Young and the Restless. But I can't think of his name, but he plays Dylan Quartermain. I just can't think of it. Scott Clifton.
Scott Clifton.
Scott Clifton is on Bold and Beautiful. And so to me, switching some of these guys around, these were all very popular, solid actors. These aren't, green guys. These are guys that have been doing it and have done it well, and audiences really like them, and they've got fan bases. I'm not saying they switch them every few weeks. I don't even say you put them on recurring like you do, like with Wally Kurth, although I kind of wish Wally would get a contract as of Ned, right, for a little while. I think it would be great for General Hospital. But if they switch some of these guys around, you're going to get some more fans in, that are going to tune in to see, some of these people in a little bit different environment. And plus, I think, most of these guys have been with the show a fairly long time, too. If they've got a fan base, they've been on the show more than 5 years. James Scott's been, they're 8. Goodness knows, like I said, Steve Burton on Young and the Restless. And I think, so if they switched them around and then switched them back or something, I don't think that would be such a bad thing. I think that might be a way for really the 4 shows to survive longer term. Because, like you said earlier, you've got almost a finite audience. We've gotten almost back to where the soap audience was about 8 or 10 years ago in terms of volume. Obviously it's not spread across 8 shows anymore. It's spread across 4. But it's going to be hard to really widen that audience. The best that they might be able to do is to try to get people to watch more than one show. I don't know.
Right.
That's just what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but like I said, my vote is Peter Bergman. He would be fantastic with Lauren Koslow. I think Lauren is such a good actress on Days. I think the character of Kate has had no storyline that's really been worth anything in quite some time. It's really a shame to have that talented of an actress. And that Peter Bergman would be the perfect age range for her, and that would make it it would make it interesting. And the Days is going to need to have a lot of these newer people, in order to really beef up the cast and not have to spend as much money, than to have some of these really seasoned people that are going to bring an audience base with them. Peter Bergman was on All My Children for 10 or 12 years. Some people still that didn't watch Y&R still remember him and loved him as Cliff on All My Children. So, there's a lot of fans that these people could move from show to show, I think. But I don't know if they're really willing to do that or not. But I think it'd be in Sony's best interest anyway to do some of that, at least with Y&R and Days. It's worked out well with Eileen. I don't know how much they're paying her, but I think it's probably significant. Mm-hmm. And we've all gotten to benefit from it, and she still gets to go back to Y&R some.
And I feel like that Y&R has been leaning more heavily on their younger cast these days. I feel like the older cast members haven't been getting their due as much as they had before. Mm-hmm. Jill Farren Phelps, which I'm not trying to say anything bad about Jill Farren Phelps, even though I know a lot of people have strong opinions about her.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think. Well, I guess I look at. I have from a longer view, I'm thinking that really, I guess I probably look at Y&R a little bit more analytically than I do just for sheer enjoyment, because it's not a show that I've always watched. I've been watching it pretty regularly in the last couple of months. I guess I did like Steve Burton on General Hospital, and I still really like Steve Burton on General Hospital a whole lot better than the new character. But I think that they're in a transition, and I think, you're seeing like Elizabeth Hendrickson, who plays Chloe, is leaving. I think there still seems to be a lot of questions about Greg Rickhart, whether he's going to go. Some of these people have been there for a while, and it seems like they're going to do some type of story, maybe even with, giving. They're obviously going to keep Doug Davidson. They're obviously going to keep Melody Thomas Scott, excuse me. And then, and I think Eric Braeden for some period of time, they definitely have already committed to bring Adam Newman back as an important character on the show. Even Angelica McDaniel has said that. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see. But I think that they're all in kind of transition. I think we're going to see a lot of people come and go. And
right.
I just would like to see maybe some of the older characters that are actors who are not necessarily old, but they're really seasoned, maybe just go to a different soap and make it more fun for all of us. It would be a challenge for them, and then plus it would make it more interesting for the audience. But I bet you we'll see a lot more changes on all of them.
Yeah,
I appreciate y'all letting me call in. I've got to scoot, but I enjoyed it. I've been listening in on your show on and off last couple weeks. So thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, Misty, thanks for the nice tweets. Every now and then I get a nice one from you, so I appreciate that too.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. It looks like we do not have time to discuss Starlene and the team.
No, that's
we
okay.
can save that for another day. This is very interesting.
Insight.
Yes, I like that she called in. That was very cool. Okay, do you have anything else you want to say before I end? I went ahead and posted the spoilers on our Facebook page.
Okay. So, like Misty said, we don't have time for spoilers, so go ahead and check us out on Facebook, Common Ground Radio. She has posted the spoilers for next week. When I talk fast, I get tongue-tied, so I'm just not going to finish this out and let Misty do it. I have nothing left to say. Go ahead, Misty, and wrap us up.
Okay. If you haven't liked us yet on Facebook, go there, type in Common Ground Radio in the search bar. We're very easy to find. Our logo is an hourglass. Just drop us a comment on our page. Tell us what you think, what you would like for us to talk about. We're open to suggestions on topics for the week. So if you've watched the week, just give us your suggestions by Saturday afternoon, and we will put that into our discussion. Also, check out airnationradio.com, because there you'll not only find links to all of our past shows so that you can download and listen to them whenever you please, but you will find a biography on myself and on Brandon, along with all of the other great shows on the Air Nation Radio Network. And you can follow them on Twitter as well. They're at Air Nation Radio. If you're into iHeartRadio, you can also find us there. We are under the talk show category. So again, we would like to thank everyone who joined us in the chat room this evening and who joined us in the discussion. We hope that you all had as much fun as we did. For Common Ground Radio, I am Misty.
I'm Brandon.
Good night.
Have a good week, everyone.
You've been listening to Common Ground Radio with hosts Brandon and Misty on the Air Nation Radio Network. Thank you for joining us.